Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Point of View with Shirley, Cleester, Eula, and Merethah. It is a wonderful, wonderful day. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Point of View with Shirley. It looks like our music is not going to act like it should, so I'm going on. And this is a wonderful day. I am so thankful to God because He has blessed each of us to live to see another day, to see another day. And this is the last webcast of Point of View for the year 2023. And it has been such a wonderful, wonderful pleasure to come before you, be with you throughout this 2023 year. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, for supporting us, for being with us, for your comments and everything you do. And I am so grateful to God for you because you have been such a source of encouragement, and I know that someone is always with me, whether they're incognito, wherever, however you're watching and listening. I am thankful for you. Thankful, so thankful for you. Point of view today, the origin of the New Year celebration, getting ready for the transition into 2024, and the effects of positive thinking. The effects of positive thinking. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. And in addition, God, bless the listeners and hearers, bless the people all over the world, and let them see your light shining. In the name of Jesus, I pray and give thanks to you. Amen. Going into our topics for today. Oh, this is so good. So good. We're going into the origin of New Year, of the New Year celebration. So something is trying to happen here. We're in history.com. And we were in history on, I think it was Tuesday, we were in history.com. And so these facts have been researched, they have been searched and researched, and okay, we're going, talking about the origin. But the first one I want to do is the origin of the new year. Is about the time in ancient Mesopotamia, and I thought I had that pulled up. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. The history and talking about Mesopotamia. Okay, here we go. Mesopotamia. If I can get that pulled up here. The origin of New Year. Let me see. This about Mesopotamia. So the origin of the New Year celebration. Today, the New Year's is a festive holiday celebration all around the world. The tradition began 4,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia, where the people celebrated each year with an 11-day festival. Even back then, people made New Year's resolutions. They believed that making promises to improve themselves helped to make the gods more happy and that they would stay happy with the kingdom. So during that time, the celebration took place in March, but a new calendar was introduced over 1,000 years later in ancient Rome. Since then, New Year's has mostly been celebrated on January 1st. So that is history, that part of the history. Now we're going to the History Channel. So we know it was started over 4,000 years ago, the celebration of New Year. Now we see why it's here on January the 1st. But I'm going to history.com and I have some more information to you because we're getting ready for a change. We're getting ready to go into another calendar year. That year is 2024, and we're asking God to bless us to make it in there. And if He doesn't see fit to make us, help us to bless us or allow us to make it into 2024 on alive in this world, that now our souls are ready to meet Him in peace. That's the most important thing. The 2024 is coming. If He delays His coming, if He doesn't call an end to the world before the 1st of January, we'll be going into the year 2024. How about that? 2024. That is awesome. Thank you so much for watching me today. I am so thankful because you are with me. It is a pleasure to have you with me. I am just so happy, so elated. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being with me. Let me see my camera. Okay, yeah, everything is good. Okay, cultures around the world and through history have commemorated the ending of one year and the beginning of another with special foods, music, and other rituals. So, here are some facts about the holiday today and its associated traditions. And you know, one thing about it, mom and daddy brought us up believing that when you go enter into the new year, you take at least a tablespoon or a teaspoon of black-eyed peas, and black-eyed peas are supposed to be for good fortune, good luck, good fortune. And then we had our foods that we ate on the new year. With black-eyed peas was one of them. Okay, so what does Auld Lang Syne mean? We've seen that song. Should old acquaintance be forgot? So let's see what that song is about. What does Auld Lang Syne mean? Auld Lang Syne mean, and why do we sing the song at midnight on New Year's Eve? Auld Lang Syne, the title of a Scottish folk song that many English speakers sing at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. This roughly translates to days gone by. Auld Lang Syne translates to days gone by. Okay, the poet Robert Burns credited with transcribing. Hi, thank you for being with me. Transcribing, adapting, and partially rewriting it in the late 18th century. Its lyrics, which rhetorically ask whether old acquaintance, AULD, should be forgot, have been interpreted as a call to remember friends and experiences from the past. Should we remember them? Should we forget them? Okay? So, those sung on New Year's Eve since the mid 19th century, it became firmly cemented as a holiday standard when Guy Lombardi and the Royal Canadians played it during a radio broadcast from New York's Roosevelt Hotel at midnight on December 31st, 1929. The band went on to perform the hit every year until 1976, and loudspeakers continue to blast their rendition after the annual ball drop in Times Square. Should all acquaintances be forgotten? Should we? Oh, yes, some of those things should be forgotten. I do believe. Okay, we should move on without them because we're transitioning at the will of the Lord into another calendar year. We're going from the year 2023 into the year 2024. My goodness. So, who were the first to make resolutions for the new year? We're talking about the origin of the new year celebration, okay? People have been pledging to change their ways in the new year, whether by getting in shape, quitting a bad habit, or learning a skill for an estimated 4,000 years. Now, remember, we said Mesopotamia, that 4,000 years ago, they were doing the celebration. The celebration began around March. They were doing it in March. They would celebrate for 11 days, and then it was moved up it was moved to January the 1st, and that's the standard now. Okay, so the tradition is thought to have first caught on among the ancient Babylonians who made promises to in order to earn the favor of the gods and start the year off on a right foot. They would reportedly vow to pay off debts and return borrowed farm equipment. How about that? So the age-old custom of breaking one's newly formed resolutions within several months, a fate that befalls a majority of would-be performers, according to statistics, probably originated shortly thereafter, because I think probably all of us have uh, had New Year's resolutions, and man, we've said to ourselves, we're going to do it this year. We're going to do it this year, and just seems like every year, if you are one of those who makes resolutions, you probably said it this year. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stick to it, and I hope you make it. Okay, so when was the first New Year's Eve ball dropped in New York's Times Square? An estimated 1 billion people around the world watch each year as a brightly lit ball descends down a pole atop the One Times Square building at midnight on New Year's Eve. And that's been a custom of ours for many, many, many years. For many years. Okay, so we watched that ball drop and watched the New Year's Rockin' Eve with Dick Clark, and now we know another young man has taken over because Dick Clark, when he became incapacitated, or mostly incapacitated, he turned it over to uh, what is it, Ryan Seacrest. Okay, so the world famous celebration dates back to 1904 when the New York Times newspaper relocated what was then known as Longacre Square and convinced the city to rename the neighborhood in its honor. How about that? How about that? When they relocated, the New York Times relocated. So at the end of the year, the publication's owner threw a raucous party with an elaborate fireworks display. Well, listen to that. So, hey, We're learning today. If you didn't already know, we are learning something else today. Talking about the new year. I think these are very important. We've been celebrating them for decades. For decades. And it's good to know the origin and know the facts about why we celebrate certain holidays. And then sometimes when we really find out the truth about holidays, how they originated, what their celebration is, what the meaning of them is, then those of us of certain beliefs and what is it, convictions, some of those we let slide, we let them go because now we know better, because they are contrary to what we truly believe. But because we did not know, we just celebrated galloping along with the gang because we did not know the true meaning of some of the holidays. And now that we do, we have a choice of, hey, celebrating them, recognizing them, or not. Okay? So when the city banned fireworks in 1907, talking about New York, an electrician revised the wood and iron ball that weighed 700 pounds. It was illuminated with 100 light bulbs and was dropped from a flagpole at midnight on New Year's Eve. Now, how about that? Now, that ball weighs a whole lot more than that. So, Lord, almost every year since then, the iconic orb has undergone several upgrades over the decades and now weighs in at nearly 12,000 pounds. It went from 700 pounds of nearly 12,000 pounds. So, in more recent years, various towns and cities around America have developed their own versions of the Times Square ritual, originating or organizing public drops of items ranging from pickles, wow, Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, they drop pickles, then to possums, oh my lord, Tallapoosa, Georgia, at midnight on New Year's Eve. So I'm hoping they don't injure the possums. Okay, hope they don't injure them. All right. Those are something, and here in Dallas, oh, I'm just ready for the Dallas celebration. Oh, the Dallas, what is it, Reunion Tower? It was magnificent last year. It was awesome. It was awesome, and they are planning. I know it's going to be even better this year. I mean, those lights were in sync. It was super. So I am looking forward to it this year. I am looking forward to it. Well, in on January the 1st at midnight, 12:59. They're going to start them. So I admonish you, I invite you to watch the Dallas Midnight Celebration, New Year celebration. So who made January 1st the first? Who made January 1st the first of the year? Okay. So, throughout antiquity, civilizations around the world developed increasingly sophisticated calendars, typically pinning the first day of the year to an agricultural or astronomical event. How about that? In Egypt, for instance, the year began with the annual flooding of the Nile, which concluded, or what coincided, excuse me, with the rising of the star Sirius. With the rising of the star, so the first day of Lunar New Year, also called Chinese New Year, meanwhile occurred with the second new moon after the winter solstice. And remember, we talked about the winter solstice on Tuesday. It's all coming together, isn't it? It's all coming together. So we're talking about the origin of the New Year celebration. Then we're going to go to our other topic, which is, I have to look at it, but anyway, you see it on the screen. So, in ancient Rome, the original calendar consisted of 10 months and 304 days, with each new year beginning at the equinox. The vernal equinox, according to tradition, it was created by Romulus, the founder of Rome, in the 8th century BC. So, did we go over this? Hi, thank you for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, you can look at this, the VRNAL equinox. Okay, so over the centuries, the calendar fell out of sync with the sun, and in 46 BC, Julius Caesar decided to solve the problem by consulting with the most prominent astronomers and mathematicians of his time. He introduced the Julian calendar, which closely resembles the more modern Gregorian calendar that most countries around the world use today. So there are two. There's a Julian and a Gregorian, okay? And I talked about this a long time ago. But anyway, this is coming back and this is good. This is good. Now, January 1st, Caesar established January 1st as the first day of the year, partly to honor the month's namesake, Janus. So, the Roman god of beginnings, that's who Janus is, Janus. Okay? So, whose two faces allowed him to look back into the past and forward into the future. It is amazing how we learn these things, isn't it? In medieval Europe, Christian leaders replaced January 1st as the first of the year with days carrying more religious significance, such as December 25th for the anniversary of Jesus' birth, and March 25th, the feast of the Annunciation. So Pope Gregory the 13th reestablished January 1st as New Year's Day in 1582. How about that? In 1582. So, what are some traditional New Year's foods? So, let's see if some of ours are here, okay? At New Year's Eve parties and celebrations around the world, revelers enjoy meals and snacks thought to bestow good luck for the coming year. In Spain and several others Spanish-speaking countries, people they boil down a dozen grapes. Whoa! Listen to this, symbolizing their hopes for the months ahead. Right before midnight, they boil down a dozen grapes. Is that right? Yes, symbolizing their hopes for the months ahead, right before midnight. Wow. So, in many parts of the world, traditional New Year dishes feature legumes, which are thought to resemble coins and herald the future. Okay? Financial success. Examples include lentils in Italy and black eyed peas in the southern United States. So, you hear that? So, they thought it resembled coins and herald future financial success. Black eyed peas. Okay. So huh, pigs represent progress and prosperity in some cultures, pork appears on the New Year's Eve table in Cuba, in Austria, in Hungary, in Portugal, and other countries. And then I was going to say earlier, Mama would put all that ooh good what is it? We call it Joe salt pork and pork Joe. That's what it is. Into the black eyed peas. Oh, it would taste so good, and I would really love to eat that meat, and I still like it today. Yes, I do. So we have traditions all over the world, and we stick to those traditions, and it might not be anything to it, but we have been doing it for years and years and years, and many of us still do it. As a matter of fact, there's a can of black eyed peas in there in the cupboard now. My daughter bought them, and God willing, if He blesses us to make to New Year's Day, we will be eating those beans. They're going to be opened and heated and eaten. New Year's Day, God willing. So, ring shaped cakes and pastries. A sign of the year has come full circle round out the feast of the Netherlands. How about that? Mexico, Greece, and elsewhere. In Sweden and Norway, meanwhile, rice pudding. Hmm. With an almond. Oh, did I say that right? My children will get me. It's either almond or almond. Okay. Okay. Hidden inside is served on New Year's Eve. It is said that whoever finds it out, they can expect 12 months of good fortune. So whoever finds it in their pudding. All right. So that is okay. That's almost the end. So let me see. Is it? Yeah, that's it. Except for what the Hoover, Paul Revere, J. Edgar Hoover, Lorenzo de Medici, Betsy Ross, and Pope Alexander VI have in common. Let's see. All of these historical figures came into the world on January 1st. How about that? According to tradition, babies born on the first of the year grow up to enjoy the luckiest of lives, bringing joy and good fortune to those around them. So the use of a baby as a personification of the new year has been traced back to ancient Greece, where the is infant in a basket was paraded around to mark the annual rebirth of Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility. So sometimes accompanied by Father Time, Baby New Year has appeared in banners and cartoons, posters, and cards for several hundred years. So there it is from the History Channel. From the History Channel, the origin of New Year's. Now I'm going to Mayo Clinic. And then for today and for the year of 2023, point of view will be concluded for this. And I want to see if anybody has joined me. I don't think anybody. No, I was just trying to keep watch and see if maybe Clea or Eula or someone has joined me, but so they haven't, but I love y'all so much, and they send greetings, and I greet you for them. And God willing, next year they'll be on with me some way, somehow. Okay, thank you so much for being with me. It's been a wonderful year. I know we've had changes, things have happened over and over again. I know we've had changes. Oh, I'm looking at my phone now. Hi, E. Oh, hello, my friend. I love you. Hi, them. I love you too. Hello, hello. And I love you so much. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. I'm just so happy. Happy that you're here with me. Thank you, Velma. Happy New Year to you too. And I'm almost finished with this. I'm going to talk about uh, positive thinking, and we're going into the new year with positive thinking. And I had a positively thinking, I had a webcast when I came to Dallas in 1992 on, let me see, KDFT radio here in Dallas. And so it was just spreading positive thoughts to people, and encouraging people to think positively, because we're going to find out. And many of us know that positive thinking helps us with our stress management, it helps us health wise, and all of that. So it's just a blessing, such a blessing. Positive thinking, and I am in the mayoclinic.org. I'm on their site, stress management, positive thinking. Stop negative self talk to reduce stress. Positive thinking helps with stress management and can even improve your health. Practice overcoming negative self talk with examples provided. And here we go. And this is by the Mayo Clinic staff. Is your glass half empty or half full? How you answer this age old question about positive thinking may reflect your outlook on life. So, is your glass half empty or is it half full? Your attitude toward yourself, it might affect that, and whether you're optimistic or pessimistic, and it may even affect your health. Now, this is from the Mayo Clinic, one of the top clinics in the whole wide world. So, indeed, some studies show that personality traits such as optimism and pessimism can affect many areas of your health and well being. The positive thinking that usually comes with optimism is a key part of the effective stress management. And effective stress management is associated with many health benefits. And we want to be as healthy as we possibly can. So if you tend to be pessimistic, don't despair. You can learn positive thinking skills. You can. You can learn. All right, Velma, half full, half full. Mine too. That's the way I see it too. Half full. Oh, yes. Understanding positive thinking and self talk. We're going into 2024. We're going to go into there. Hey, we're going to march into there. We're going to bust in there, thanking and praising God for everything that He's done, will do for us. Yes, yes, yes. We're thanking Him for that because He has been mighty, 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 mighty good to each of us. And I am so thankful. I just have to say that. I am thankful to God. So, understanding positive thinking and self talk. Positive thinking doesn't mean that you ignore life's less pleasant situations. And this is so much. It makes so much sense, doesn't it? We don't ignore the things that are going on around us. Positive thinking doesn't mean that you ignore life's less pleasant situations. Positive thinking just means that you approach unpleasantness in a more positive and productive way. We've been talking about this ever since I've been on here. I've been talking about this since I don't know, 2011, 2009, whatever. I want us to have a positive mind in everything. There's some positivity that we can pull from every situation in our lives. And we must do that in order to have a successful survival. Okay? You think the best is going to happen, not the worst. Okay? You think the best is going to happen, not the worst. Positive thinking often starts with self talk. Self talk is the endless stream of unspoken thoughts that run through your head. And don't we have some thoughts that run through our heads? Sometimes there are thoughts that come through to our heads and run through our heads, and we say, "Where did that come from? I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't in that frame of mind." And just thoughts just pop in your head, just pop in your head. So these automatic thoughts can be positive or negative. Some of your self talk comes from logic and reason. Other self talk may arise from misconceptions that you create because of lack of information or expectations due to preconceived ideas of what might happen. And we've seen people who sometimes we call them worry warts. They always think that the worst is going to happen. So if the thoughts that run through your head are mostly negative, your outlook on life is more likely to be pessimistic, okay? So if your thoughts are mostly positive, you're likely an optimist. So someone who practices positive thinking. An optimist is someone who practices positive thinking. Okay? So the health benefits of positive thinking, this is where we're going today. Researchers continue to explore the effects of positive thinking and optimism on health. Health benefits that positive thinking may provide include increased lifespan, lower rates of depression, lower levels of distress and pain, greater resistance to illness, better psychological and physical well being, better cardiovascular health and reduced risk of death from cardiovascular disease and stroke, reduced risk of death from cancer, reduced risk of death from respiratory conditions, reduced risk of death from infections, and better coping skills during, during hardships and times of stress. And Velma, I remember reading your story, and it is amazing. You posted something one time. I think it was you posted about when you had to stay in the hospital. And I'm not going to try to go into details about it, but I remember it was saying that people were saying every time they did something for you, you were thanking them, and you were always in a positive mood, always in a positive mood, and that really inspired me and made me think, could I have been that positive? Could I have been that positive? And so that helps me to strive to be a better person and to live a life. So if I do experience and something, not it doesn't something a sickness or something that is overwhelming to me, will I be able to still have a positive attitude and be able to treat people kindly and nice? Because we have seen people who have been sick and have experienced this, because I've worked in hospitals, I've been in nursing school, I worked in the hospital when I was in school. You know how we did the work program in the summertime as a nurse's aide. So I've seen a lot, and some people are mean when they are ill. Some people are mean when they are ill. Even in the nursing home, some people are mean, and then there are some people who are nice too. And so, whatever my situation is, if I ever come into anything, I want to be able to have that positive attitude, like you did, Velma, like you still have, and be able to be nice in spite of whatever is going on. That was really inspiring to me, really inspiring to me. Your inspiration. Oh, yes, you are. So it's unclear why people engage in positive thinking and experience these health benefits. One theory is that having a positive outlook enables you to cope better and with stressful situations, which reduces the harmful health effects of stress on the body. It's also thought that positive and optimistic people tend to live healthier lifestyles. They get more physical activity, they follow a healthier diet, and don't drink or smoke alcohol in excess. Now, we're going to go to identifying negative thinking. Not sure if your self talk is positive or negative? Some common forms of negative self talk include filtering. You magnify the negative aspects of a situation and filter out all the positive ones. And we've heard people do this, we've been around people that did that. This is called filtering. They magnify the negative aspects of a situation and filter out all of the positive uh, ones. So, for example, you have a great day at work, you completed your tasks ahead of time, and were complimented for doing a speedy and thorough job. That evening, you focus only on your plan to do even more tasks and forget about the compliments you received. And some people, this is one thing that I've mentioned it before. I've mentioned it before. When people give a compliment, I know we want to be humble. We don't want people to think that we have the big head. But, just we should just say thank you. Thank you. That's what we should say. But some people don't say thank you, thank you. They say, well, just pray for me. Just pray for me. Just say thank you. And then add, and will you continue to pray for me? But just say thank you. God is not going to get mad at us for saying thank you, for Him blessing us to accomplish something positive. That's what He wants us to do, to be successful, to profit, to be able to have good thoughts, be happy, be successful. He wants us to prosper and be in health as our souls prosper. So He's not going to chastise us for saying thank you. So personalizing, you personalize if you're a negative thinker or negative self-talker. When something bad occurs, you automatically blame yourself. For example, you hear that an evening out with friends is canceled, and you assume that the change in plans is because no one wanted to be around you. And you know what? I'm going to say something here. Sometimes when something has happened or something in the past, that old devil, you hear me? Tries to put it in my mind that maybe it's because of me. And I know good and well that I have not done anything to make it be because of me. But he tries to discourage us and put that negative self talk in our minds. And those things pop up. They pop up, and no matter how hard we try, they still pop up. But you know what I say? Satan, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And I don't have to holler it out where people can hear me all over the world. I can say it in my mind. And he has got to leave me alone. He'll come back. He'll come back. But we get stronger as the days go by. We catastrophize, okay? Catastrophizing. This is the next one. You automatically anticipate the worst without facts that the worst will happen. The drive through coffee shop gets your order wrong, and then you think that the rest of your day will be a disaster. I remember I was traveling one time, and so this person, I guess it was a phobia of the person I was traveling with. So, well, not really that person, but I guess it could have been because it trickled down to people that she was associated with. We were traveling and we were going out of town together. And I think we had traveled before. I don't know whether it's the first time we traveled together or maybe it's the second. So something happened on the way there, not to us. It was miles away from us, but I guess it could have been a way that we could have taken. Not even know, I don't even know that, but it's not a way that we went. But something happened. The bridge collapsed, I believe, and some of those people that were, uh, how should I say this? A part of that person's life. When we finally touched bases, they were all up in an uproar, thinking that we were on that bridge. And I understand that. I understand it, but catastrophizing, this is what I'm talking about. You act automatically anticipate the worst without facts that the worst will happen. The drive-through coffee shop gets your order wrong, and just because they got your order wrong, then you think that the rest of your day is going to be a disaster. That's what I'm talking about. We were nowhere close to that place. Nowhere close to that place. Blaming. You try to say someone else is responsible for what happened to you instead of yourself. That for real happens, and probably we have done this before, blaming somebody else for something and we're responsible ourselves. Okay, so you avoid being responsible for your thoughts and feelings. You avoid being responsible. Okay, saying you should do something, you should do something. You think of all the things you think you should do and blame yourself for not doing them. Have you ever been there? I have. Have you ever been there? You think you should do something. I think about that so many times. I think about if I had done this, maybe I could have done that. Maybe I could have done that. And someone told me one time, said, no, it wasn't for you to do. Somebody told me that. And I think of that quite often because we think, could I have done this? Would it have been better if I had done this or done that? Sometimes the best thing for us to do is just stand still and let God do the work. Well, all the time, really. But there are some times when we feel guilty and it haunts us because we feel like, what if I had done this? Could I have done something to help the situation? Next, magnifying. Good afternoon, Lady Patsy. Good afternoon. Magnifying, you make a big deal out of minor problems. And we know people like this, that they make a big deal. What do we call it? A mountain out of a molehill? A mountain out of a molehill. I mean, they will blow something up so big, just like I'm telling you when we were traveling. That was so blown out of proportion that it was something else. Really, it was. Then we go to perfectionism, keeping impossible standards and trying to be more perfect uh, sets yourself up for failure. It really does. Perfectionism. And I remember one of my professors at Grayson College said to me, "You're a perfectionist. You're a perfectionist, aren't you?" And I guess I am to a degree, but then I don't want to set myself up for failure. Okay, I want to know how far to go, when to stop, and when to just let it be or go back and start all over again. So we have to know when, where, how much, okay, and why. Polarizing. You see things only as either good or bad. There is no middle ground. And there are some people who think like this. It's either good or it's bad. There's no in between. So we're talking about the positive thinking, and this we're in Mayo Clinic, and it is stress management and positive thinking. Focusing on positive thinking is our next subtopic here. You can learn to form negative thinking into positive thinking, okay? You can learn to turn the negative into the positive. You can learn to do this. And so we're going into the year 2024 thinking positive. Okay? And one year it came to me, said, put all that old junk from this year, I'll say, put all that old junk that we have from 2023 into the trunk of the car, load it onto the truck, and take it to the dumping ground. Where that psychological dumping ground, where you can see it in your mind, you take all that, load it up, and take it to the dump and leave it there. Because you're starting a whole new calendar year and it's going to be a great one for us. As we think in our hearts, was that? So are we. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we're focusing on positive thinking going into 2024. So you can learn to turn negative thinking into positive thinking. The process is simple, but it does take time and practice. You're creating a new habit. We have to realize this. We are creating a new habit. We are practicing to make it good for us. Following are some ways to think and behave in a more positive, optimistic way. Okay? So identify areas to change. We have to know where we need to make the changes. We must know. We must acknowledge the fact that we need to change and then identify the areas in which the change is needed. All right? So if you want to become more optimistic and engage more positive thinking, first identify areas in your life that you usually think negatively about, whether it's work, your daily commute, life changes, or a relationship. Gotta think about it, okay? You can start small by focusing on one area to approach in a more positive way. Sometimes it's not good to try to change all of them at one time. Okay, so start out with one and work on it. So think of a positive thought to manage your stress instead of a negative one. And next, check yourself. And you know, I talk about that. I saw that on the highway. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. And Lan said that's Ice Cube. I believe he coined that phrase. But I saw it on the highway on one of those signs on the way to Austin. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. And so it's telling everybody be careful on the highway. You know all that. Periodically during the day, stop and evaluate what you're thinking. If you find that your thoughts are mainly negative, try to find a way to put a positive spin on them. Next, be open to humor. Have you noticed that there are some people that think we it seems that they think it's a sin to laugh? Have you ever seen anybody like that? Hi. Oh, hello. Hello, Leon. Hi. Jimmy. No. Hi. So glad you're all with me today. Be open to humor. Now, if you know me, you know I love to laugh. I love to laugh. I really do. I always want God to let me know when it's good to laugh. Because not many times it's not always good to laugh, especially out loud, because some things can be funny, but they can be offensive to other people if we laugh at them. So we just have to be careful, don't we? And be wise. What is that? Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Because sometimes we get so tickled till we almost hurt ourselves trying not to laugh out loud. Okay? So be open to humor. Give yourself permission to smile or laugh, especially during difficult times. Seek humor in everyday happenings. When you can laugh at life, you feel less stressed. And that is so true, so true. Now, follow a healthy lifestyle. Very important. Aim to exercise for about 30 minutes on most days of the week, right? You could also break it up into 5 or 10 minute chunks of time during the day. And that's how I do it, okay? And I've made myself get up and move after I eat. And it really, really does help. After you eat, get up and move. It brings that, from the swallowing and the chewing and, the regurgitation and all that, it brings all that excessive air up and out. It helps just to move around. And I am so glad. And I told you, Alexa reminds me, okay, it's 15 minutes to lunch. It's lunchtime. I have 20 minutes after lunch. She tells me, get up and move around. That's on my Alexa. So, exercise can positively affect mood and reduce stress. Follow a healthy diet to fuel your mind and body. Get enough sleep and learn techniques to manage stress. You see, that stress is something else. That stress will literally take a person out of this life. For real. We've heard about it. Some have experienced it. Some have seen it happen before your eyes. People are so stressed till it makes them have a stroke or a heart attack, and it just does them in, really. So stress. Surround yourself with positive people. Don't we talk about this? Don't we talk about this? A negative person can stress you so till you just, oh my goodness, sometimes you feel like you need to go to bed. But one thing you have to do, you have to learn to deal with the negative people. If you have to be around them, practice and know how to deal with them when you are with them. Okay? And where it won't be stressful on you and it won't cause confusion or whatever. And sometimes you might have to dismiss yourself for real. Okay? Might have to move around some. All right, surround yourself with positive people. Make sure those in your life are positive, supportive people you can depend on to give helpful advice and feedback. Negative people may increase your stress level and make you doubt your ability to manage stress in healthy ways. And some people are so negative, they can have your head almost spinning. And that's what we're going to avoid from now on the rest of our lives. We are going to know how to deal with every situation that comes up. And you know how we're going to deal with it? With positive thinking. Positive thinking from here on. So practice positive self talk. Start by following one simple rule. By practicing positive self talk, start by following one simple rule. Don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to anyone else. Be gentle and encouraging with yourself. If a negative thought enters your mind, evaluate it rationally and respond with affirmations of what is good about you. Think about things you're thankful for in your life. See, that's what it boils down to. So, here are some examples of negative self talk and how you can apply. Oh, look at me, it's 1:58. How you can apply a positive thinking twist to them. So, putting positive thinking to practice. Negative self talk. Here we go. I've never done that before. So what would the positive thinking be? It's an opportunity to learn something new. Negative talk is too complicated. Positive thinking, I'll tackle it from a different angle. Didn't I just say, if you have to start over or whatever, tackle it from a different angle. I don't have the resources. Okay, what is the positive to that? Necessity is the mother of invention. Negative, I'm too lazy to get this done. I and net positive, I couldn't fit it into my schedule, but I can re-examine some priorities. How about that? Negative, there's no way it will work. Positive, I can try to make it work. Negative, it's too radical a change. Positive, let's take a chance. All right. Negative talk, positive talk, okay? No one bothers to communicate with me. Positive, I'll see if I can open the channels of communication. How about that? Negative, I'm not going to get any better at this. What is the positive telling us? I'll give it another try. How about that? So practicing positive thinking every day. If you tend to have a negative outlook, don't expect to become an optimist overnight. But with practice, eventually your self-talk will contain less self-criticism and more self-acceptance. You may also become less critical of the world around you. So when your state of mind is generally optimistic, you're better able to handle everyday stress in a more constructive way. That ability may contribute to the widely observed health benefits of positive thinking. And this is from the mayoclinic.org. Thank you so much, so very much for being with me this year and today, especially. And happy new year to you. I love you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. And you have a happy new year. But now remember, Greater Gospel Temple, God willing, will be on at 7:39 on Saturday and at 7 a.m. on Sunday. And that will be it for this year. I love you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hi, Becky. Hi. Hi, Leora. Thank you all so much for being with me. And please let me hear from you. And if you will, I know some of you already share, but those, if there's no imposition on you, would you share this with all of your friends, please? Happy New Year. I love you so much. Let me go into our outro here. This is Positively Thinking, signing off for the year 2023. Oh God, I'm calling on you. Oh God, I'm enlisting the saints to pray. Can you hear me? Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it?